Thank you for tuning in to the Voter Education Forum, and for those of you that are here for attending. We wanted to host this Voter Education Forum to, one, share information about the November election, but to also provide individuals an opportunity, if they haven't before, to use the ballot marking devices. We wanted to demonstrate that they are only connected to power. There is no internet access to the ballot marking devices. The only things that are connected to the internet are the electronic poll books, and that is because you can register the same day and vote, and the only way we would know that you're registered is through that electronic poll book that is updated constantly. So I also wanted to share some key dates. So obviously the election is November 5th, so unless you've been hiding under a rock, you know that the election is November 5th. If you're like me and you have signed up for ballot tracks, or you have provided your phone number to the county, you received a text, or at least I did yesterday, from the Secretary of State notifying me that my vote-by-mail ballot was in the mail. Which is a great feature. So if you go to weho.org/elections, you can find a link there to sign up for that lovely feature, because once you put your vote-by-mail ballot in the mail or at a drop box, it will notify you. The county has received your ballot. Your ballot's been counted. So it's a great way to know what's going on with your ballot. We'll open our drop-off locations on the 8th. So we have one along San Vicente in front of the City Council chambers. We have one at Plummer Park in front of the community center, and we have one at City Hall along Sweetser. So if you don't want to put it in the mail, even though it's a prepaid envelope, you can drop it off at a drop box. And we'll go to the next slide. So these are the ways that you can vote. You can vote by mail, you drop at a drop box, you can drop it off at a vote center, which they will be opening on Saturday, October 26th, I want to say it is. We have one that's opening, it's an 11-day Plummer Park Fiesta Hall, and we have a 4-day vote center that will be here at the Aquatics and Recreation Center. Next slide, please. So we have 2 city council seats for this election that you will be voting on, as well as Measure WH. And we have information on our elections page that links you to Measure WH, and there's a dedicated webpage with information on Measure WH, which is for local control and for increased public safety. Next slide. So here's our elections page. You can see we have candidate statements up there. We have the candidates listed in the order that they will appear on your ballot. We have information about Measure WH and contact information for the candidates. So getting out the vote. This is all of the ways that the city clerk's office and our communications department have worked to inform residents of West Hollywood about voting in November. So we put our street pole banners up. They went up last week. You will find them along Santa Monica Boulevard, along San Vicente, and along Sunset in different locations. And speaking of Sunset, I just want to uplift our new billboard on Sunset Spectacular, Body Politic, which is about getting out the vote, and you can actually interact with the billboard and tell it why you are voting. So at the top of every hour, you will see the Body Politic film for lack of a better word, and you download the app and you interact and you tell it, I'm voting because of women's rights. I am voting because voting is a privilege. So I believe there's 10 different things that you can choose, and they start coming up on the screen, and it's a really neat thing. We were at the reception for the artists last night. So our digital transit shelters will also have voting information on them, along with information specific to West Hollywood. We also did a little twist on yard signs, political signs for West Hollywood, and rather than being candidate specific or just uplifting our election, it's why are you voting? Or I'm so gonna vote, that's my favorite one. Or I vote because, and it was our little twist on trying to get people to think about voting differently, because there is voter fatigue out there. It feels like election cycles never end anymore. I think people are still talking about the 2020 election, even though it's gonna be the 2024 election. And then we've done several ads in WeHo Times and the Beverly Press. We have videos on our social media channels, which are always at WeHo. And then educational mailers will be sent out regarding Measure WH. So if you are watching from home and you haven't ever had an opportunity to go to a vote center, please come down and you can use our test ballot marking devices, because if you're like me, I always vote by mail. I have always voted by mail for a long time. We have some fact sheets. They are up on our weho.org/elections page. We have English, Russian, and Spanish versions that have all of the information regarding our election in November. And here are some examples of our at WeHo City posts that we've done. A big part is making a plan to vote and talking about that it is safe to go to a vote center and vote. If you are still concerned about COVID, there will be masks, gloves, they sanitize the machines. This is the voter education form. So we have LA County here as well to register you to vote or to talk about elections. The other thing I wanted to share is if you can tune in for the 30-day canvass, which begins election night, there is a live webcam into the Canvas Center at the LA County Registrar Recorder in Norwalk, or if you would like, it is open 24 hours and you can go and watch them count ballots and see how ballots are counted and take some of the mystery out of how we canvass an election. And no, someone can't vote twice. It's very meticulous how it's done. So I encourage you, if you've never watched a canvass before, to do that. And finally, that's it. So please visit weho.org/elections, and thank you for joining us today.